It's hard to write a song when all I feel is fine. It's hard to find some words to rhyme when my world's not out of line. It's hard to find a melody when you didn't break my heart. And it's hard to write a song when I sleep through the night without feeling lonely all the time. But don't think for a minute there that I haven't tried. If I could, I would have written all the albums about you by this time. Just because I haven't doesn't mean any less that I love you. Just because I couldn't doesn't any less mean that I'd love to. You make me feel home, you make me feel warm, you do. Please don't take my lack of creativity as a sign I don't love you. 'Cause I do, I do, I do. Please don't get suspicious now that this tune has slipped my heart. I know I said my words won't rhyme without ever getting hurt. Maybe I was just too busy feeling fine. I should have toured the whole damn world with your songs by this time. Just because I haven't doesn't mean any less that I love you. Just because I couldn't doesn't any less mean that I love to. Oh, you make me feel home, you make me feel like I can't stop searching, baby. Please don't take my lack of creativity as a sign I don't love you. 'Cause I do, I do, I do. They would have thrown all the Grammys at me that they have, baby. Oh, you earned this. Please don't take my lack of creativity as a sign I don't love you. 'Cause I do, I do, I do. You lost your elastic brain cells, drinking in the pub. Smoking killed your concentration. Yes, I'm talking about your part. Arguing only on Facebook. Make your social skills fuck off. Shooting terror from your desktop hasn't helped a lot. Oh, let me break it down for you. Your racist hatred filled points of yours are just old-fashioned and have no space in the 21st century. Let me just say, biologically, chemically, physically, anthropologically, we are all the same. So stop, so stop, so stop. Oh, please stop bothering me. Are you fucked up about your own life that it didn't bring you there? Is your sex life disappointing that you need to hate on theirs? So let me break it down for you. That life don't care about gender, color, or looks, and evolution never taught us so. I just hope it works on you, love. Let me just say, biologically, physically, anthropologically. We are all the same. So stop, so stop, so stop. Oh, please stop bothering me. Yeah. Biologically, chemically, physically, anthropologically. We are all the same. So stop, so stop, so stop. Oh, please stop bothering me. Why won't you stop loving each other? Do. Just have respect for one another. Do. Why won't you stop loving each other? Do. Just have respect for one another. Do. No.
Caitlin, welcome to Munich Sessions Studios.
Thank you very much.
I know
for
you've
having
been
me.
here before. You played with Nana here as well, didn't you, when we did the live
That's
video?
true, yeah.
So, to everybody else, who are you? Musical. I don't need to know your life history. But Who are
Musical.
you? Yeah.
My name's Caitlin Dalton. I'm doing pop music.
Simple as.
Simple as.
Fantastic. So then, let's start at the beginning. How did you get into music?
Pretty early, actually. I had like violin and piano lessons when I was a kid. My parents went through the whole practicing stuff, and but then when I got to puberty, it was uncool to do like classical music, as it always is. And I started playing guitar, and I started songwriting, and actually like really got into music when I moved to Munich.
Yeah.
And got into live music and songwriting and everything. Yeah.
And when did you move to Munich?
It would be like 7 years ago now or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, how would you say, how do you go about writing songs? What's the kind of process? What's the thought pattern? Or if there's any quantifiable idea? No,
at all. No, they just come. Like, it's really weird. They like some of the songs I wrote at like 3 a.m. at night or something when I was really stressed. I started studying a few years ago. It's something that I quit really early, and I used to write a lot of songs when I was supposed to be studying as a form of procrastination, but it was a really, really good form of it. So, I just have an idea and I start writing, or I start making recordings, and sometimes come back a year later and be like, oh, there was something that I had in mind. So it's like really without any plan at all.
Excellent. So when you said you studied classical as a kid, do you have like a reasonably decent theoretical knowledge, or was that just kind of you went through the motions as a kid, and when you got to the rock stage, as it were, you just kind of threw it at the wall? Or
well, I've got my like tone hearing.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Like my intonation or something.
Yeah.
I got it from playing violin, because I started really early when I was 4 or something, and I couldn't read notes at that stage, so I had to learn violin by listening to it. So that helped me a lot for today, for my singing and for the vocals and everything. Yeah, exactly. But I never had like jazz lessons or something, so I always played classical and did like played from sheet music.
Yeah.
So it was more or less self-taught. A lot of YouTube, a lot of Ultimate Guitar.
YouTube to this day, greatest learning resource on the planet. Like, you can learn if you sift through the bad stuff. Like, there is some absolute excellent tutors out there. So then you picked the 2 songs today. Mm-hmm. Why did you pick both of them?
I picked Anthropologically because I really like it. I think it's a really cool rock song, and I love to play it with other musicians, and I love to play it live. And it was on my album that I released last December, and so I wanted to have something that's on my new album and something I can play. And the other song is a new one that I just finished writing. It's still a little bit like it still has to get a little bit of adjustment, but I thought just throw it out there.
That's the best way, send a song out at like 90% finished and see how it works. And I always love to see how they work live as well. Playing crowd reaction is a fantastic sort of judge of pace. And tell us about the songs. What are they about? What was the message you were trying to say, or is it just, you know, random heartbreak and I like that?
Most of my songs are random heartbreak songs, but anthropologically I wrote it because I had an encounter at work when I was a nurse. She was like, my colleague was like a really racist, homophobic woman, and she used to just like blabber on about it. She would just come to us and be like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Nee, ich muss nochmal starten. She would just like come to us on like while we were working and say all this like really, really bad stuff and really homophobic and racist stuff. And it got me so angry that like someone living in the 21st century could still be thinking that way. So yeah, that was the roots of the song. It's like my little anger song, my anger management song. Yeah, and the other one, the new one, which is called Still, it's about me writing all these heartbreak songs for all the fuckboys out there and all the like heartbreaks, and they have so many songs. My best friend got a song, everyone, but my partner of 2 years never got a song, and it's really hard to write something like when I'm not hurting.
Happy songs are hard.
I know.
Like everybody's like, it's a damn sight easier to write a sad song than like happy songs is bloody difficult. I have almost respect for guys like Jack Johnson. It's just happy to end of
Yeah, I don't know
like,
how he does it. Like,
I don't think he's had a hard day in his life though, so let's not fuck around. Okay. So you're a gigging musician. You're playing a lot locally or here and there and everywhere?
Yeah, like here and there and everywhere. I think like in all the small locations in Munich that offer live music, for example, I get a few gigs. It's not too much because I study full time, and I want to try to keep it a hobby, the music, or to like keep enjoying it and not have too much pressure behind it. But yeah, I play a fair bit, I would say.
And what do you think to the Munich scene?
I think like there are lovely people in the Munich scene, and the longer I live here, the more people I get to know, and I'm always amazed like how many amazing, talented musicians are in Munich, and I'm always like, phew, how must it feel like to be in Berlin or something, where there's even like more people. And it's not too oversaturated that you can't get any gigs. So if you're starting as a musician, you still have lots of locations that are looking for small artists and that you can play live. I just think it would be really hard to have to live from it, like to have to earn your money, because they don't pay a lot here in Munich. But otherwise, like the music community is like really cool and really supportive. I think I feel really supported.
Excellent. So then on the same, how would you say, on the same theme, what's the best gig you've ever played and what's the worst gig you've ever played?
The best gig was like, of course, it was my album release last year. Nice. Where like most of you who are here helped me play it and organize it, and it was just amazing because all my friends were there, and everyone was really loving and supporting, and it was the first time to really play with a band, and it just felt great.
Oh, it's a great atmosphere, to be honest. Like I do like the smaller, dingier style clubs kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know. And it was full, like all the people dance and everything, and it was really cool to just like play the complete set of all my songs and only my music, like no covers.
Yeah.
That was feeling really good. And the worst gig was probably a wedding where I played with my rock cover band, and no one wanted to hear like rock and metal, and no one danced, and we had to push through like 2 or 3 hours and be like, it's the worst when nobody likes the music and you're just standing there. And
I love car crash gigs.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a rite of passage. Like, I don't think anybody who's been successful can be like, I've never had a bad gig.
Yeah,
like you have to have them to have a sense of perspective, and just to keep your ego in check.
Yeah,
you get too confident, and then you go have a car crash one. You're like, oh right, I suck.
Yeah, exactly.
You get back and practice it more.
You get leveled.
Yes, 100%. So, moving on, how have you found the music industry in general? I know you're saying you're doing it more as a hobby, but you're still writing, you're still in it, and you have a slightly, I wouldn't say an outside perspective per se, because you're still involved and you're into it, but maybe slightly more a newcomer idea to it. But how do you find the music industry? More broad spectrum.
Yeah, I sometimes have the feeling that you have to have money to make it big. Like you already have to like pay distributors. You have to pay the studio to have a good recording. You can do it at home, of course. Like if you're really talented, you can do the whole process at home and get really big, like Billie Eilish or something. But I think it's easier if you already have a lot of money to put into and to get big, to get the streams, to get the marketing out there, to have a band, and like all the management stuff or the labels or something who were actually there to support you or to give you that money to produce your music and to do everything. They only will accept you if you're already big. So it's like you're kind of stuck as a new artist. And I see it like from friends of mine who do it as a job and who really need to get their music big and everything, that they put so much effort in, and then you get your 2 or 3 streams on Spotify, get nothing back, and you put in so much more than you get out. So it can be really hard for a new musician. But on the other hand, it's really great that you can put your music out there and that you can produce for yourself, that everyone can put their music on Spotify and because I have to admit, I use Spotify a lot and I love to I love the algorithm. I love getting new music put in and
Oh, I mean, Spotify, as a consumer, there's not a lot better than Spotify. Whoever's writing them algorithms deserves
but
a
as a
raise.
musician...
If you're a musician, worst case scenario, awful. But it reminds me,
Exactly.
there was a tutor in my college and he was like, do you know the best way to make a small fortune in the music industry? Start with a fucking big one.
Yeah.
And, that's as simple as it goes. And especially with today, as you're saying, like DIY artist scene is there, but you can't physically record yourself and then produce yourself and then film yourself and then promote yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's just too much work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a harsh reality when you start getting into it. However much you can do yourself, it's never quite enough.
Yeah. That's why I try to keep the pressure out a little bit, so I still enjoy putting my music out there and be happy for my friends to listen to my songs and everything.
No, fair play. Okay then. So what are you I used to always ask when in conversation, not in this situation, obviously. This is new to me. I used to ask what your favourite band is, but it's almost impossible to answer. Because everybody's like, well, I just like everything and everything all the time. So what are you listening to at the moment? And that's, if you went home now and you've chilled out, what's the kind of first things that you're going to be putting on? Except for your Spotify algorithms.
The Spotify algorithm playlist. I'm just gonna say
Daily mix number 2 today.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of Taylor Swift at the moment. The last album she released, I just loved it. Lawrence is
outstanding.
Outstanding. It's my new form of inspiration that I like for every musician, for every band that there is. I think there's nothing better. And lots of 2000s stuff. Rock music, pop music. Yeah.
There seems to be a recurring theme now with most people I speak to. They're like, we just kind of listen to like 90s and 2000s stuff.
Yeah.
Like the indie wave came and then it just kind of like, no, yeah. It's when guitar music went out of the charts. I think that's a big one. So that's what you're listening to. Is there any local guys that you're listening to? And guys in the broader sense, let's not get hung up on details. Yeah, any local artists that you're listening to that you'd want to hype up?
Carol Kelly.
Absolute
fan.
Yes.
Absolute fan. Yeah. I listen to all of her music. She sometimes sends me her demos, and I already love all of the songs, sing them along. Yeah.
Excellent. And you guys are gigging together already as well.
Yeah, which I feel really, really, really blessed about, because I'm like, she's like the best musician that I know, and I feel really honored to be like on stage with her and play with her. So
fair play. She is outstanding. This is actually saying, to link back to the songwriting point. I should have brought it up earlier. You write in English.
Mm-hmm.
You are German.
Yeah.
Is this a deliberate choice or something that just kind of happened? Have you tried writing in German, to be honest?
I want to write in German because I think it can sound really, really nice, and I think it would suit my voice really good to have some German. Like if I do German covers, for example, I think it's just a complete different style of voice and everything. I think it's more intimate, probably. Because like all German artists say that you just hide behind the English because you feel less, I don't know, out there.
Yeah.
But I would really love to try. But everything I write in German kind of sounds like, I'm trying to write a poem for school or something. So just not really getting there, because I would want to be a little bit more lyrical and not like plain German words stuck together. So yeah.
Do you find that more as a personal choice or more as a thing of the languages themselves Because like when I hear French, it doesn't matter if somebody's reading a shopping list to me, it sounds beautiful. But like, I mean, obviously I'm biased, like I've grown up around English and that's just my base language. I found German, when it's done properly, you know, the classic literature stuff is beautiful once you've translated and gone through the effort. But is your choice personal from what you like, or is it more the difficulties of the language, would you say?
I would say it's more personal because I used to listen to a lot more English artists when I was younger. And I think a lot of German music that I listened to, it was more like the party music that I liked that was German. I never really liked the slow music in German, but I think there are brilliant artists that write in German and they have a really good way around words and everything, but it's just hard for me. So I think it's personal.
Fair enough. The only one I can truly say I listen to is Annemarie Cantoret.
Yeah,
and just his
brilliant,
voice is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and the German doesn't sound
sound
weird or
awkward or anything like that.
Exactly.
It sounds very natural and it suits his voice very well.
Yeah.
You mentioned something and I meant to follow up on it. I should take notes. This is fine. No, this is
but
fine.
Then I would feel like in therapy or something.
Did you find that it, like, obviously you've grown up around German music and in Germany. At what point has there always been like an influx of English speaking music, or has it been gradually over the years got more and more? Because I know if I'm ever in a car or something and I listen to a radio, there's not a lot of German music played on the radio. There's a lot more, you know, English speaking stuff. Or, I mean, nowadays a lot of house and electronic. But did you notice like it gradually come in, or has it always been there?
I think
German
it was
scene?
always over there. Yeah, I would say it was like even out with the English and the German songs. I know a lot of bands, and you know all the words by heart when it's played somewhere, like Wir sind Helden, Seed or something. But it's always more the party tracks and everything. But I'd say it didn't like get more and more English. I think it.
No. It's always just been there as a thing.
It was always there.
Just a little history into the German market, you know. Well, I mean, you guys overtook Japan a few years ago. So the biggest three were USA, UK, and Japan, and then the Schlager scene blew up here over the last years on the download and streaming, and you guys bumped Japan off third place. Yeah. So it's a huge market here. Like that's no joke to be taken third position. Obviously, US massive, UK massive, but no, fair play. Okay, so we've done it. I think we'll take it into the last little bit. Musical heroes. And that's not necessarily for their music, but like people in the industry that are just like you hold in a highest of regard.
Lots of people, of course. The first one that actually got me songwriting or got me to want to become a singer and a guitar player was actually Katie Tunstall.
Oh yeah.
So I've listened to all her early albums and I was just like, I want to be her. I want to be doing what she does. And then Pink. I was always looking up to Pink as a woman also, as a female artist. And now it's probably Miley Cyrus because she went through all the phases in her career. And I think she took a really cool turn, released a really cool album now. So
she's kind of just owning it for herself nowadays.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, you know. She went through that whole Hannah Montana malarkey and then came out of her.
Yeah, and she went through all the genres, which I also find really cool that she like found her style of music, or she's redefining herself again and again with all the genres that they are, basically. So
it's funny because I hold Bjork in possibly like the highest regard of any DIY because she is pure DIY.
Yeah.
But I can't listen to anything past like the second or third album. Like it just goes mad. But like I still hold her in the highest regards. I think you've nailed it. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for coming in. The music was outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for coming in, and we hope to see you all again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Nice.
I had a blast.
Fantastic. Cool.